cents, 68 euro cents and 60 pence sterling. Now, the All Ords has climbed above 5,000 for the first time in 18 months, buoyed by interest in Australia's coal sector.
One person who's very excited is Rod North from Bourse Communications. He joins us now. It's what you guys live for, of course, a bull market.
Well, it is, and I mean, it has been a pretty remarkable recovery from sort of 12 months ago when we reached the low point of 3,109. We're now back to 5,000, but I think it just shows you that markets can recover, and you know, if we have a recovery, we see companies perform better because they have managed to come through the global financial crisis very well, and those companies are now looking, particularly in the next few months, to complete the full financial year with better results. So with better earnings, that should help drive the market higher. We also saw the Dow last night get to 11,000 for the first time as well, which is pretty positive. But we have to temper that with the fact that, you know, markets recover slowly. They can go down. They can go down. But I mean, I think there was a lot of scepticism about July, August last year as to when we'd actually get to 5,000, and you know, that's been achieved. But in history, we've seen markets recover and get back to the levels of you know, the previous highs. And in that case, in November 2007, we got to 6,800, so we've got the chance over time to get back to that level as well.
And this is so good as far as you're concerned, it's cause for celebration.
Well, I think, you know, it's always worth marking an occasion when we get to a next level.
And how have you marked it today, Rob?
Well, I think we brought a cake in to celebrate, and I thought that many people at the ABC might enjoy a bit of cake after the show. I mean, you all work pretty hard in here, and I think sometimes it's good to celebrate.
Are you also...
Is this in lieu of shares?
Well, you know, if people didn't make any gain out of buying shares, they could always have a piece of cake.
Let them eat cake, they once said. It reminds me of boom times that were not so boom for others, but I'll let that go.
Well,
are you also possibly celebrating your tip as to when the market would get back to 5,000?
Well, there was a bit of that, Joe, yes, because as I said, there was
a
a bit of scepticism about whether we'd get back to 5,000.
What was your... refresh us as to what your tip was.
Well, I said we'd get back to 5,000 before the end of the calendar year, which was last year. We actually,
so you're out by a fair
I was a
bit.
little bit out, but then in January we actually got 40 points to you know, below 5,000. So, you know, it's taken until now, but I mean, that's been quite good to see it get to that level.
Now, turning overseas, with the Eurozone bailout of Greece, or at least the offered possibility bailout, is what's more significant here not so much that Greece might need the money, but that the security of that money is now there?
I think that's a very key indication. The fact that you've got the European Union getting together, solving a problem, and you know, obviously there's still quite a bit to see how it's all going to work and the legality of it and all that. But I think it sent, you know, a very strong message to the market that things can be worked out, and the European Union are prepared to get together and work out a solution. Obviously, a lot of the I's have got to be dotted and T's have got to be crossed in the weeks ahead to see how all that will pan out. Obviously, there are a number of countries in the European Union that are in a bit of trouble themselves, so they've got to be able to help you know, Greece, because the situation is that it can affect you know, the whole world really if these sort of bailouts don't occur. But it does also show us, I mean, in the case of the situation with Dubai only, you know, months ago, where we had a $90 billion situation there, that over time these things can be worked out and then they send a more positive message to the market.
Will those other countries in trouble in Europe also have access to this money, or will the Eurozone have to create special funds for each of these different countries, like Italy, as the problems arise?
Well, that's a very good question, Joe, and I think it does open Pandora's box in regard to that, because there's also the question of, you know, the rate that's being offered as well, you know, at 5%, that effectively equates to about 7%, and also the European Union is often able to offer rates at less than that as well.
Rob, where do you stand on those weekend reports that suggested by the end of the year interest rates might be sitting at about 10%?
Well, look, it's interesting because the Reserve Bank, one of the Reserve Bank assistant governors was at a Senate Select Committee meeting yesterday and indicated that we're very close to what he believes is the normal setting. So with the cash rate at 4.25%, we're not too far off from what the normal setting has been indicated for some months, which is somewhere between 4.5% and 5%.
But that doesn't mean we don't have to go above normal.
That's true, Joe, but I think we're getting very close, and perhaps there might be a bit of a break in those increases for a few months.
Rod, thanks for coming by. Thank you.
Thanks.